Grace and peace, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We're back. You saw the thumbnail. Saw the title. You know the time. You know what we're about to do. We're going to jump on our Candace watch party today, y'all. Man, oh, man, oh, man. But before we jump into that, let's clean house. Let's clean the palettes. Let's do something. Let's talk about something interesting. So shout out, of course, today we do mourn the passing of Scott Adams. Shout out to him and his family. And it was kind of sad to watch and hear some of the testimonies and some of the memorials that are being offered on Twitter and elsewhere for him. So shout out to him for sure. And great, excellent content creator and one who made a profession of faith. So I have no reason to believe otherwise. So shout out to him for sure. I'll be missing my coffee time with Scott, but to God's glory, maybe we'll be having coffee again one day soon. So shout out to him. I want to talk about a couple of things. We got some fun things queued up and planned out. We're gonna let's hear from Charlie. Let's hear from Charlie. I think this will be good to hear from Charlie today, because I think it sets the tone for a lot of the things that we're hearing about Charlie from other places, but not from him. And this is from the George Janko podcast. You know. Shout out to George, man. He has some great podcasts, and this was a fantastic clip from one of his podcasts. If you're interested in it, the link is down in the description of this video. So this is a very quick segment. It's not super long at all, but let me bring it in and check it out.
These moments where you're fighting for your country and you're getting these threats, does it alarm and concern you for your children?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, my wife is the best person ever, and she's a patriot, and she's a believer, and we don't want to have to be accountable to God when this life passes. And he asks, why did you not trust in me and not fight evil? Because we as Christians are called to fight evil. It's one of the lesser known scriptures, Psalm 97:10. For those of you that love God, you must hate evil. Again, everyone is called to something different in the body of Christ. Some people are called to heal the sick. Some people are called to mend broken marriages. Some people are called to do outright hot gospel teaching. My call is to fight evil and to proclaim truth. That's it. Some people criticize me for that. It's just my role in this diverse body of Christ. Some people do mission work in the jungles of the Amazon. I'm not called to that. Do I worry for my safety or my family's safety? No. However, I think it's important that Christ is all grace and all truth. And so if I'm contesting in the public arena for truth and it really ticks somebody off, then I'm in no way defying the wants or wishes of Christ or his word. Understand that we as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We are all live in error. The problem with college campuses, though, is that it calls error truth. So the entire institution is absent and outside of and is in contradiction with God's law and God's perfect commands for our life. I have, of course, made plenty of mistakes, and I have handled situations in ways that I wish I wouldn't have. But the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, patience, and self-control, the last of which is self-control, which is the hardest for me. And so without the fruits of the Spirit, being born new and being transformed as Christ, as King, and as our Lord and Savior, I would have no self-control, which is hilarious because it's one of the top compliments I receive. Like, wow, Charlie, how do you control yourself? I don't, actually. It's the Holy Spirit. Amen. If it was just me, if it was my flesh, that wouldn't be an enjoyable video to watch.
So shout out to Charlie Kirk. I thought it was really interesting. The more, if you're somebody who, became a Charlie Kirk, aficionado after September 11th, 2025, I think the more you actually listen to what Charlie said, the more you might realize the things that you were told about what Charlie said were different. The things you were told about Charlie are different. And I really enjoy hearing him talk about his faith and what he understands about his faith, because rarely did he ever, in my opinion, come across as one who was vacillating, confused, or anything of that nature. He understood who Christ was and what Christ has done. And I think that is super interesting in light of some of the times when people try to retell us or revision or reimagine Charlie Kirk, kind of like fan fiction Charlie Kirk. And they come out and they say things about him that you're like, that doesn't rhyme with what I heard the man actually say. And it's wild that happens. And I just wanted to kind of start the show today with that, just to remind us of like who Charlie was as we're, out here having these conversations, some of them civil, some of them a little, shall we say, spirited. But the more we're having conversations, I do think that it's good for us to realize exactly what we're actually conversating about. Because a lot of the people that we're discussing and arguing with, they themselves have not answered a lot of the questions that Charlie Kirk answered right there in that little short 2.5 minute blurb. And maybe they need to answer those questions before they start answering questions pertaining to anything else. Just something to think about, something to consider. So shout out to the best live chat on the internet. I see, what are we congratulating? Wait, we got congratulations. Are y'all congratulating whom? I see a lot of congratulations popping off in here. Wait, what I miss? Who's faceless? Faceless is 19. We're congratulating you for being 19. What am I missing? Okay. Okay, here we go. Hello, I became an aunt today. Healthy baby boy. Congratulations. There we go, faceless. Well, shout out. A shout out to new little people on the earth. Shout out to them. Shout out for sure. Thank you so much for letting us know. There we go. Queenie is an aunt. Okay. So I guess you're Auntie Queenie? Queen aunt? Auntie Queen? How does that work? I love it. I love it though. Shout out. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. Okay. All right. We got to, y'all. Maybe I should do a body cam footage first. Maybe I'll do a body cam. Let's see when she's going to go live. Let's see when your friend is going to go live, y'all. Because yesterday was a terrible mess. I really think that woman, I think yesterday, and I'm actually kind of surprised each day. Like when I think we've hit the bottom floor, I find out there's a sub basement, and then there's a sub basement, and then we're like in the catacombs. I'm actually kind of surprised how bad yesterday's show was. I did listen to it again today, and I was like, wow, this really sounds like the death girdle of somebody trying to keep this thing going. So now you pull up a ancillary cult out in Asia to try to tie all this together to, ma'am, just let it go. I mean, I would have to go back. What year was that? When did Frozen come out and all the little girls were singing Let It Go? I almost want to say that we need to bring that out. Like we need to start singing Let It Go. Candace, let it go. It's over. It's over. It's over. They're done with the wings. The caterer is pulled up. The DJ has turned off the music. It's over. The party's over, Candace. Nobody believes this anymore. Yo, yesterday was crazy for her. Try to bring in, and you do know that she's trying to say that Charlie Kirk was a part, because eventually she's going to turn on Charlie Kirk. I'm going to tell you that right now. She's going to eventually turn on Charlie Kirk. And all of this, my best friend, his legacy, trying to defend Charlie Kirk, who killed Charlie, she's going to turn on Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk went to Korea to work with the Moonies. See, that's what's going to end up happening. If this continues, that's where it's going to go. I know that sounds crazy. I know. But let me ask you a question. Didn't yesterday sound crazy? Did yesterday sound less crazy than what I just said? There we go. Let's talk about something real quick. And she hasn't announced her show, so I do have a couple of shows that are clips I want to play for you all that I think would be beneficial. Let me see what if I missed. Yeah, I'm telling you, do not be surprised. Just like we knew she was going to go after Erica Kirk. We knew that. We called it, right? Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised whatsoever when she now says, Charlie Kirk was not the person I thought he was. He was a scoundrel, low down, dirty, good for nothing. That's why I played that clip so you can kind of hear from Charlie. That was last year when he was on George Janko's podcast. And maybe I'll just find more of those and, just pull them together and such like that. But see, it's her versus the world. That's really what this is. Because Candace is the only person that's right on this whole everything. She's the only one that's right. So everybody is going to be everybody against Candace. That's it. and all the way around it. So I thought about something, and you might have thought about this as well. Was it a good thing that Candace brought Mitch Snow to the podcast? Was that a good thing, you all, or was that a bad thing? And I'm saying, like, for our overall understanding of Candace and her audience, was that a good thing? In the chat, good or bad? Good or bad? Okay. There's some people that are saying it was good. Okay. Oh, some people saying it's bad. See, Caleb is reading past the teacher. Watch out. Wait, most gooderist. I love it. Straight talk. Okay, I'm with you. Gooderist. I'm going to propose something, and I want you to think about it. Up to the point that Mitch Snow had come on camera, Candace had never had a guest, quote unquote, substantiate or corroborate any of her stories. They were always these nameless, faceless texts, DMs, emails, even phone calls. But we never actually heard anybody else. So it was very easy to believe and to think that Candace might have real leaks and real leads and such like that are normal people. But as soon as Mitch Snow jumped on that screen, everybody, a collective, the internet in its collective way said, oh, these are the people that support Candace Owens. And we realized she has been getting played for the longest. Now, I had been thinking that and kind of, processing it in my head. Now, the Blaze Network just yesterday put out a video that really explained it way better than I just did. So I'm gonna bring it in and let y'all check it out. This is what's her name? My gosh, I forgot her name. I'm having a blank. Wheeler. Her last name's Wheeler. Young lady, we've seen her before. Liz Wheeler is her name, and she talks about why it actually is a good thing that Candace brought Mitch on. Let me bring it on. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
I know there are a lot of people who are skeptical of the idea that Tyler Robinson was the shooter or the lone shooter, or that the bullet that he fired from that rifle his grandfather gave him was the source of the bullet that killed Charlie. And the reason many people are skeptical.
Let me also point out, this is a sidebar. If Tyler Robinson's grandfather gave him the gun, is it a lap too far to believe that his grandfather gave him the ammunition? I don't think that's a lap too far. Why would his grandfather have weaponry, have ammunition that could take down a moose if they're not hunting that type of creature? It wouldn't make sense. It would make much more sense for his grandfather to be giving a young, inexperienced gun owner some moderate, dare I say, some very basic ammunition. Hence why I don't believe that he had some, a tank rifle. I mean, some tank ammo to take out a doggone tank. It was probably something to take out a small fox, a coyote, or something of that nature, which would make sense because that's why we don't have an exit wound. Just something I thought about, but let's let Liz keep going.
Of this is because Candace Owens has made a claim that when local law enforcement, in the immediate aftermath of Charlie's assassination, when local law enforcement was conducting their analysis of the crime scene, they had bomb-sniffing dogs, and these local law enforcement officers with their bomb-sniffing dog did not detect the rifle until the feds came on the scene. And suddenly when the feds arrived, they, pointed under a bush or whatever, and that's where Tyler Robinson's rifle was. And so the insinuation is that the feds planted that rifle. If Candace has a source for this claim, we need that person on the record. It can't be an off-the-record source. It can't be an anonymous source. It can't be a matter of, oh, you believe that simply because you trust Candace. We're far beyond that point. Why? Because people criticizing Candace Owens for having Mitch Snow on her show have actually missed a big point. I'm glad Candace Owens had Mitch Snow on her show in a certain sense, because Mitch Snow gave us a picture, an illustration of who he is. By appearing on her show, we got to determine for ourselves whether Mitch Snow is credible because of what he said or what he didn't say on Candace Owens' show. For example, Mitch Snow claimed that his wife attacked him with a hammer. You can take a look at this. This is a video of Mitch Snow making this claim. And it's important. I'll show you why it's important as soon as we watch this video. But I want to hear his words. I want us to hear his words for ourselves so we can roll that tape when we have it.
And on that morning, she, was loading up the vehicle to go for this meeting. She came out and acting real kind. She took my keys, she took my phone, she went back inside and forced me to go back in and find out what was going on. Lures me to the garage that she pre-set up to be like a little prison. She broke the garage doors. Hoarded stuff was stacked against the windows and the other doors. And she lured me in there and attacked me. Hit me with a hammer and, break my thumbs, my feet, back of my skull. And I got the hammer from her.
What year was this?
That was 25 June 2016.
So this is how long this has been going on. And just so everyone knows, Mitch is still trying to get a divorce. This has been going on almost 10 years.
Can we just stop for a second and appreciate the fact that it says right here that there was one arrest that day, and the one arrest was Mitchell Snow? When Candace came back and said Mitch has never been arrested, she outright, unequivocally lied. Right here, we see that he was arrested. That's it. Just something to think about. I mean, again, there's multiple instances where Candace has been less than truthful, duplicitous. Dare I say she's lying, but telling stories, as Big Mama would say. But this right here is very clear, very evident.
That was Mitch Snow on some other podcast. That was not on Candace Owens' show, claiming that his wife attacked him with a hammer, when in reality, this is what really happened that day in his garage with the hammer. You can take a look at this video.
Car! This is how you treat us. Take it. Everybody pan around. My wife neglects us, ignores us, and then screams at us on Saturday mornings about things that are completely unimportant to her. Blames me for losing things I haven't touched.
Tried to ask you if you knew where they were.
I did, and I told you I don't know.
No, you never said that. You had to give me a little asshole answer.
I didn't give you an asshole answer, I gave you a smartass answer. It's Saturday morning, and it's okay to be a smartass. You do it all the time, Lene. What is so bad about being a smartass? You do.
Yeah, I've never done crap like that, Mitch.
Yes, you have. That's the thing. You do it all the time.
No.
That's what you do.
You just beat our door in with a hammer.
Why are you videotaping me?
Why are you acting crazy? You want me to let you in and that's what you do?
I also want to just point out, it doesn't look like, if you look at that video, it doesn't look like the windows are boarded up. He said the windows were boarded up and she made it a little cell. I don't think that's the case at all. It does look like it needs a good spring cleaning, but I'm not here to judge. My own garage needs Jesus too.
It's an awful video. It's hard to watch. It also illustrates that Mitch Snow doesn't tell the truth, because his version of that story did not match the video that existed of the incident that he was describing. He was the one with the hammer, and his wife showed a door that he had hit with the hammer. He also, by the way, Mitch Snow also claimed his father was the Zodiac killer. So why is this important? Why is this important to understand Mitch Snow's background, to analyze the credibility of his character? Well, the reason why it's so important is because all of Candace Owens's insinuations are based on anonymous sources. Who are these people? Well, we typically don't know who they are. Are they credible people that we should believe simply because they say something? Well, you don't have to ask that question because Candace always vouches for them. She trusts her sources, so you can too. But this Mitch guy is pretty crazy, no? Even Candace Owens' most ardent supporters on X were pretty quick to say, this guy's kind of whack. He lies, and it's provable, and it's not great that Candace platformed his false allegations. That was from Candace Owens' most ardent supporters. But here's the thing. This crazy Mitch is the entire basis for Candace's Fort Huachuca claims. The basis for these nasty false insinuations that Erica Kirk played a role or had knowledge of the orchestration of her husband's assassination. She didn't, obviously. It's a malicious, cruel, false allegation with zero evidence to support it. Candace's evidence is crazy Mitch. He's her source. But what if more of Candace's alleged anonymous sources are just like Crazy Mitch? This is why I'm glad Crazy Mitch was on her show. Take the Egyptian planes allegation, for example. Who was Candace's source for that claim? You watched the video earlier. She said it was the key to solving who murdered Charlie. Again, she said that information was verified, but as it turns out, the information is not true. It's not accurate. It is not even close to accurate. In fact, we did an analysis of the data and found that the parameters used to identify a so-called overlap are absurd. The parameters used weren't that the Egyptian plane had to land at the same airport as Erica Kirk on the same day that Erica Kirk arrived at that airport. That would probably constitute an overlap, but that's not what the parameters were. The parameters were the plane had to land at an airport within 50 or 100 miles of Erica Kirk on a day that could have been the same day, the day after, or the day after Erica Kirk was there, plus minus 3 days. So Candace Owens in this spreadsheet was counting overlaps. The plane didn't even have to arrive at the same location, even in the same state as Erica on the same day, and she was still counting it as an overlap. That is ridiculous, as many of you noted to me after I pointed this out. That's not the only problem with the data. If you analyze the data, which several people did after this spreadsheet was made public, Kanakoa the Great is a user on X who did a pretty thorough analysis of this data, who actually bought subscriptions to flight services where you can track different aircraft by their tail number, and found that 66% of these flights didn't even exist. So it wasn't a matter of, the definition of what constitutes an overlap is ridiculously large. These planes weren't even in the air when the spreadsheet said they were in the air. So you can see what we're showing on the screen right now. Every instance that's highlighted in red was a flight that didn't even exist, that Candace claimed exist on the spreadsheet that she showed in order to substantiate this allegation that Egyptian planes were following Erica Kirk around the country for several years. Again, this was a claim that was made by Candace Owens that simply was not true. And that allegation that the Egyptian planes were following Erica Kirk was based on an email Candace said she received from, what was her phrase, a pregnant mommy sleuth. Like Mitch, Candace did not verify the claims because you can't. She just repeated them. It took me 5 minutes to debunk the spreadsheet, the Egyptian plane spreadsheet. It also would have taken Candace 5 minutes to debunk it, but instead, she just regurgitated the claims. But think about this. What if Candace had interviewed this pregnant mommy sleuth on air? Maybe, just maybe, it would have been obvious immediately to you and to me that the data was fake because the source would have demonstrated that, like Mitch demonstrated, that he was not a credible person. And by the way, I mentioned this earlier. In response to that, Candace Owens promised multiple times to publish an interactive timeline for the Egyptian planes that's supposed to be posted on her website. The insinuation is that the new interactive timeline will address the false data, but it's now been weeks. Where is that timeline?
It's been
I hear nothing but crickets.
It's been a month.
Seems like someone is hoping you'll forget that she promulgated such absolutely false data to underpin her evidence-free insinuation that Israel killed Charlie. So, I'm kind of thankful for Mitch. He is a Candace Owens source. And you called foul because it is foul. It's high time to ask questions about all of Candace Owens' sources. Let's get them on air now. Listen, there is strong evidence, you sense it, I sense it, of a conspiracy behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And if we ignore the web of radical trans Tifa groups and the uprising of trans violence in our nation, that violence is going to continue. So my final question is this. Why insinuate conspiracies without evidence when a real conspiracy exists right in front of our faces? Asking questions is good. Dynamic investigations are fine. It's podcasting. But Charlie's words keep ringing in my ears. And I want to play them again. His role in the kingdom of God is to battle evil with the truth.
And by the way, she's about to play the same clip that I just played a moment ago. So I don't know if I was in the spirit or something, whatever. So she's going to play the same clip that I just played a moment ago with the George Janko. If you're interested in seeing the whole hour, 20-minute long interview, the link is down in the description. So let me just bring her back in. She's going to play it. Shout out. I think it's well worth hearing again.
Sometimes that means questioning the questioners. Let's listen to Charlie once more.
These moments where you're fighting for your country and you're getting these threats, does it alarm and concern you for your children?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, my wife is the best person ever, and she's a patriot, and she's a believer, and we don't want to have to be accountable to God when this life passes. And he asks, why did you not trust in me and not fight evil? Because we as Christians are called to fight evil. It's one of the lesser known scriptures, Psalm 97:10. For those of you that love God, you must hate evil. Again, everyone is called to something different in the body of Christ. Some people are called to heal the sick. Some people are called to mend broken marriages. Some people are called to do outright hot gospel teaching. My call is to fight evil and to proclaim truth. That's it. Some people criticize me for that. It's just my role in this diverse body of Christ. Some people do mission work in the jungles of the Amazon. I'm not called to that. Do I worry for my safety or my family's safety? No. However, I think it's important that Christ is all grace and all truth. And so if I'm contesting in the public arena for truth and it really ticks somebody off, then I'm in no way defying the wants or wishes of Christ or his word. Understand that we as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We all live in error. The problem with college campuses, though, is that it calls error truth. So the entire institution is absent and outside of and is in contradiction with God's law and God's perfect commands for our life. I have, of course, made plenty of mistakes, and I have handled situations in ways that I wish I wouldn't have. But the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, patience, and self-control, the last of which is self-control, which is the hardest for me. And so without the fruits of the Spirit, being born anew and being transformed as Christ, as King, and as our Lord and Savior, I would have no self-control, which is hilarious because it's one of the top compliments I receive. Like, wow, Charlie, how do you control yourself? I don't, actually. It's the Holy Spirit. Amen. If it was just me, it was my flesh, that wouldn't be an enjoyable video to watch.
We are called to correct error with truth. And I will leave you with that because it is not just Charlie Kirk that faces that call. It is all of us.
Shout out to Liz Wheeler on the Blaze Network. And thank you to the mods for dropping a link to her channel in the chat as well. If you want to see the full interview of Charlie with George Janko, that is in the description as well. All right. Everybody, we got to prepare ourselves. So your friend and mine has announced that she's going live at 5:20. All right. So we got 25 minutes, y'all. All right. I think we need to cleanse our palates. I think a good laugh probably is necessary. I think in the chat, real quick, can we just agree? Green hearts in the chat if you agree. A good laugh every now and then is good. You know, a merry heart does good like medicine. Can we agree to that? Can we agree? Even if we disagree about what number we are, even if we disagree, can we agree that, you know what, I need a good laugh every now and then, Jason? You got a good laugh dialed up for me, Jason? You got something that's funny? You got something comical even? Dare I say? I see the green hearts. They're coming up in here fast and furious. Well, yesterday, Candace, you know, in her infinite wisdom, and I am going to, real quick, hold on, time out, pause. Cantifa people, please make sure you get up here to the front of the church. Make sure you get all the way up here. Come on. We always make room for Cantifa at the front of the church. And I'm also going to just say right now, we don't take Candace seriously over here. Not even a smidgen. She could tell me that today is Tuesday. I'm still going to make fun of her. I don't care. I don't care. So we are here at the J-Wit podcast and the best live chat on the internet, the most electrifying comment section. We just make fun of Candace. We no longer treat her like she needs with kid gloves. We laugh at her. We laugh at the kid. We do that. We do that here. We do that here. So I'm just going to give you a heads up, just in case you're new, that we make fun of her. We don't treat her like she needs to be treated. Like, no, this is not a person that needs to be treated with any kid gloves. You can take the kid gloves off. You can do that. No, we just mock her. We mock her. We laugh at her. We have a good belly laugh. I think she's trying to make sure that we all have six-pack abs come this spring, because we're going to be we laugh hard at her. We laugh hard at her. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing bingo, making fun of her. And I'm going to keep doing it. So please, if you do not like that we mock Candace, please, I am begging you to please make sure you email management. And here's the email to management right there, dearwokec@gmail.com. Email management, tell management to stop it. Please tell management to stop it, please. And I'm forewarning you right now that if you dare email management, I'm going to turn that into a video. I'm going to turn your email into a video. I'm just telling you ahead of time. You've been warned. We don't care over here. We don't care. We don't care. I don't care. I don't care. We don't. We don't. I'm just telling you right now. No, this email management, email HR, nobody cares. Nobody cares. We're going to make fun of Candace. We're going to keep laughing at her. I don't care. We're going to pull up the, we're going to make more fun of the bees. We're going to make more fun. I got all my different color hoodies over here. We got the maroon, the green, the black. We're going to do it. We're going to make fun of her. If I have to go to the Atlanta airport and live stream from an Egyptian plane, we're going to do it. That's it. You have been warned. And then you know what I'm also going to do? I'm going to dream about making fun of her. I'm going to dream about it. And I'm going to dream, and then I'm going to come and tell y'all about my dreams, and then we're going to make content out of my dreams. And it's going to be funny because we're going to mock her. And periodically, I'm going to turn on the side camera. If you're new here, I don't care. We're just having a good time. That's the only reason you're here, because you heard that we make fun of Candace. And you want to see whether or not we make fun of Candace, and I do not want to let you down. I don't want to let you down. I want you to be like, man, this dude really does make a lot of fun of her. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He even pulls in the second camera sometimes and adds a second camera and be looking at the second camera and talks like it's somebody different than the person over here. The dude is crazy. The dude is crazy, but he doesn't care. So with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, what do you do when you have dreams about this situation? What do we do? How do we handle it? How do we handle when we have dreams and visions in the night? You had a little extra pizza at night, or maybe some bad mustard on your pretzel at the game, and maybe a little bit too many of those adult beverages that you take in. What do you do when you have that dream? You don't like the second camera? Wait, is the second camera bad? Wait, I'm talking to you. I'm right there with you. What do you do? Well, I think that I don't know what to do when I have a good dream. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get Candace to tell us.
You guys, let's get started. So apparently we don't believe in dreams anymore. Apparently we don't believe in dreams, even though once upon a time, of course we did. Think back to Martin Luther King, okay, MLK. Martin Luther King had a dream and everyone believed in that. They certainly believed in that. And I find that very interesting. MLK had a dream that we all just accept. He had a dream, but of course, Martin Luther King was a Zionist. I said it. He was, of course, a Zionist. He believed in global world government. MLK is, of course, likely connected to MK Ultra, MLK Ultra. I just find that interesting. It's one letter difference, but it's close, and we will be looking into that. Martin Luther King had a dream, and guess what? I did too. And luckily, on this week's episode, we're going to be looking at actual brain scans, okay? Brain scans of my brain while I was dreaming so that we can verify what my dreams said. I have with me today actual brain scans of my dreams that have been occurring. You're not going to believe it. This is an actual scan taken from my brain from my dream last night, okay? Pay close attention. This is my brain. This is an actual scan from my brain taken from a dream that's been reoccurring on a nightly basis. If you look closely, you can see there's clearly a person right there. And that person, of course, is none other than Andrew Colvett. So obvious. It's so obvious. There's Andrew, okay? Right there holding a sign that says, I am a traitor. And of course, as you can see, he's surrounded by stars of Remfam, the hexagrams, as part of an occult. Clearly, this brain scan shows a confession, an admission. So my question then is, why are you hiding this, Andrew? Why are you hiding? Why won't you answer my calls or my texts? I stood outside your window last night holding this. You're clearly afraid, clearly a coward, clearly a liar, and I don't like liars. I'm the subject of dreams if you dig deeper. Turns out there was a song in 2001 by a band called O-Town called Liquid Dreams. Liquid Dreams, this was 2001, the year of 9/11, which I find interesting. If you look at the song lyrics of Liquid Dreams, you find something very interesting. I dreamed about a girl who's a mix of Destiny's Child, just a little touch of Madonna's wild style with Janet Jackson's smile, okay? Throw in a body like Jennifer's, you've got the star of my liquid dreams. What, they were just doing human experimentation, putting all of these celebrities together in a lab in the forest to design the perfect human? This is clearly one world government trying to engineer human beings. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. But on the subject of dreams, this song was called Liquid Dreams by a band called O-Town about genetically engineering human beings in laboratories and experiments. That's what they are trying to do to all of us. And we're not going to let them. Other brain scans from my dream came back, and they showed a depiction of me in a threesome with Tucker Carlson and his brother, Buckley, which I found interesting. Found that interesting. They just had a podcast together, so that makes sense why I would want to be involved in that. I would want to be involved in that to learn information. You guys, they think we're stupid. They think we're crazy. They think we're crazy. So stay tuned for next week. We're going to be doing more updates showing live brain scans in real time. And I've put the offer on the table for Turning Point USA to do a live stream with me while I sleep, responding to active brain scans. Something tells me they don't have the courage to show up to something like that. Thank you to all my mommy sleuths for continuing this investigation. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go find out more of the truth. Thanks for watching, you guys. Did you get anything? Yep.
Okay. Shout out in the chat. Do y'all know who this little boy is playing the violin? Please tell me if you know who this little boy is playing the violin. Ami Kozak, I'm telling you, this is probably his best one. He does some pretty good ones. This one, I'm going to have to say it. I'm just going to say it because this is a wit-tatorship. This is his best skit so far. This is the funniest one. He could have done this for 10 minutes. I would have approved him doing that for 10 minutes. I would have. Absolutely. That was probably, yeah, like I said, it was his best one. Shout out to Ami Kozak. If the mods can just please make sure we have him in the chat. We have his link in the chat. I need Ami on the show. That would be crazy. That would be bananas. But then he probably wouldn't want to come over here because all we do is mock Candace. No, he wants to come over here. I need him over here. That would be great. Somebody just sent me an email, said they have a text message from Charlie Kirk, but it was an empty email. Like, where's the email? The email's empty. I just replied back. Like, what is it? Yeah, this is Ben. This is Ben Shapiro playing the violin. I didn't know he played. I didn't know he played the violin. And by the way, this song at the end is hilarious. Real quick,
Did you get anything? Yep, incoming.
copywritten for that. That was hilarious. Shout out to Ami for sure, my friend. That was excellent, excellently done. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the side, Jason. Get rid of him for the time being. For the time being. Empty lake. Well, that is true. Well, I mean, technically, oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. Y'all, do me a favor. I know other content creators really, they're doing their best. I can't hold it against other content creators that they are trying their best to have a really good community. And I don't fault them. I want them to have good communities. But can we all agree that this is the best live chat on the internet and the most electrifying comment section on the planet? Can we agree on that? Can we agree red and blue, Crips and Bloods, left and right? Can we all agree that at least this is the best live chat on the internet? Can we agree? We can even bring inside. Can we agree to that? Can we agree to that? Most people are saying yes. Okay. Why are we saying this, Jason? Because Charlie Kirk had text messaged somebody on this chat. Oh my gosh. This looks pretty authentic. This is pretty good. And Charlie emailed Heather and said this: "Hello, Heather. Please tell Candace to stop harassing my wife and friends, or I will haunt her in her dreams." Ghost emoji, angry face emoji. Also, please tell my lovely wife and children that I love them and I miss them, and that I am with the angels in heaven who are overwatching them. Heart emoji, smiley face. It's so beautiful here. Thank you and God bless. See, that I believe that really happened. I believe, look, we got the iMessage logo right there. She only got 3 other unread messages. It's got the little now the date is on here. What says today? Is it supposed to say today? Does that is it supposed to say today, or is it supposed to say something else? I don't know. I'm an Android person. But this looks authentic. What you got to send us the metadata though. Heather, I need the metadata now, Heather. To verify, to confirm, because this looks authentic, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I think it looks good to me as an Android user, as an untrained eye. I'm not an investigative journalist like Candace is. Shout out for sure. We got the best live chat. I'm sorry. There are other content creators who want to have a best adjacent live chat. That's what they want. They want to have the best adjacent live chat. Please, you have my permission to send that to Candace's tip line. You have my permission. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? I just cannot fathom the kinds of shenanigans that she gets in her email box. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine some of the outright, whether it be from like crazy people or from trolls. I just can't imagine like the amount of shenanigans she gets has got to be, it's got to be staggering. Well, she says she's an investigative journalist. Look, I don't think she's either one of them. I don't think she's either one. Truth be told. Here, let me make sure I got this video queued up. All right, so she's supposed to be going hot at 5:20, so in 10 minutes, give or take. So yesterday, y'all, she got the Church of Satan on the screen. Hold it. I'm telling you, y'all, I'm telling you, before this is over with, Charlie Kirk is going to be, he's not going to be a Christian. She's going to make him not a Christian. I promise you. I know that's crazy. I know you might disagree, but Candace is going to do that. I promise you. She's going to have Charlie Kirk be public enemy number one. I promise you. Because the argument that, okay, look at this. What is this about? Okay, so we got Candace here. I don't know who this man is, the first man in the black. This looks like a senator, this dude in the middle. Who's that guy? And then this guy right here with the upside down pentagon and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he's got the upside down pentagon right there. That looks like some satanic stuff right there. So what is she talking about today? And I don't know who this dude is. Is that what? Oh, that is Lindsey Graham. Okay, my bad. All right. Lindsey Graham. Okay. Lindsey Graham about to catch strays. And that's who's the other guy y'all said? Greg Laurie? Chuck Laurie? Who's the guy? Who is he? Not a pentagon. No, it's a pentagram like that. I mean, yeah, this is gonna be some stir-fry foolishness. Okay, so who is this guy? Lindsey Graham is a pastor, right? Greg Laurie. Okay, there we go. Okay. I think I've known that name. Okay. All right. Well, they all gonna catch it today. We all know they're gonna catch the strays today because Candace has got to make this thing. She's gonna make this thing. She's got to make it make sense. And I'm telling you, eventually she is going to say that Charlie Kirk was a Satanist. I'm telling you, she's gonna say it. I know you don't believe me. No problem. No problem. Just stay around long enough. Stay around long enough because the argument can't be if she makes Turning Point. Just follow where she was yesterday. Turning Point USA was what she say the Moonies cult 2.0. So Turning Point is a cult, but Charlie Kirk didn't know about it. Turning Point is the Moonies cult 2.0, but Charlie Kirk wasn't associated with it. Come on, you know where she going. You already know where she going. But yeah, I can see that happening. She already called Turning Point USA a cult. I'm telling you, Charlie Kirk his salvation is on a thread. Is on a thread right now, according to Candace, of course. According to Candace. I don't know what Greg Laurie is. Y'all just reminded me who he was. Y'all just help me out. And then look at the mouth. Whose mouth? Her mouth? Look, we doing whatever we helping the people out here. All right, hold on. Hold on, let me pull it back in. Sorry. What am I looking at? I see her mouth. I mean, she's got a mouth. Greg Laurie looks like he's talking. Lindsey Graham looks like he's in the middle of saying something. This dude looked like he's about to, I don't know. It looked like some shenanigans, hijinks about to happen in 4K. Okay, so let's we're gonna see how it goes, y'all. But do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. And she said over this week's gonna be a whole bunch of explosive whatever. I'm expecting Turning Point USA to be a cult. Well, I mean, she already said it's a cult. Sorry, I'm expecting. Well, she said he was in purgatory. I don't know how the rules work for purgatory. I'm not up to snuff on that. Oh, he's in Cali? Okay. Greg Laurie is in Cali. Okay. Well, anybody now, if his church qualifies as a mega church, we already know Candace got her sights on him. So she gonna put her claws on him for sure. Oh, you're saying Candace looks AI. I can see that. It's a filter for sure. It's a filtered picture for sure. No question there. Okay, so hey, we gotta hey look, we doing everything over here, Visual Bible. We looking at everything. No stone will be left unturned. We're addressing it all up in here. Oh, let me get y'all back on the screen. There we go. All right. Uh-oh. Greg Laurie is saying that she needs an exorcist. Oh man, then we already know where this is going. Okay. Oh no, the picture is augmented. It is filtered, shall we say. No, I mean it's been touched up. There's no hey, it is what it is. Make sure you hit the like button. We got 779 people up in here. Shout out to y'all. Shout out. Greg Laurie is a pastor from the movie Jesus Revolution. Oh, really? Okay. She's going at the turning point. Faith, she thinks that they are all PDFs. Remember, she said that she's going to burn it all down. Right. It's funny because remember, and if you have that clip, feel free. Remember, Candace said that she wanted war with everybody. Do y'all remember that? But then she gets in her feels because war comes to her door, and she's like, "Well, why are they picking on me? Why are they being mean to me?" Don't send me that clip so I can send it to Mark, our editor. Don't send it to me. Do not send it to dearwokec@gmail.com. Because then I'm going to send it to Mark. And you know how Mark be misbehaving. What's going on? There she is. Hey, Biblical Worldview. We're going to y'all want Biblical Worldview to come on? I think she should. I think she should come on one day. It can be tomorrow or Thursday, or if she does a show on Friday. I think you should come on. We can do this together. I think that'd be fun. Let's see, same hair and blouse from yesterday. Are you sure? I thought she had a brown top on yesterday. That's interesting. She usually does the outfit that she wore in the show. Wait, are you sure? Okay, let me go pull it up. We got to run it back, Jason. Run it back. No, yesterday's was a different outfit. It was different. Here, let me just pull it in just so we can this is a different top. You know, I rake her over the coals, but yeah, that's a different top. And then this is what she's wearing today. That's a different top. Y'all know I rake her over the coals, but I try to be a fair shooter when necessary. Okay, she's hot. Let's go. Well, oh, not really. She hasn't gone live yet. But the stream is up, so let me at least pull this in while I'm telling jokes. All right, so we're there. All right, we know we're ready. We're ready to go. Shout out to the best live channel on the internet. Please make sure. Now, I'm not able, because we're doing this in real time, I'm not able to boost up the audio. So we know the audio is going to be what it is. It's going to be what it is, y'all. So I apologize about that already. Here goes nothing. And that's what she has, but don't tell nobody. Shut up. Let's get ready. All right, lots of good conversation going on in the chat. As always, green hearts in the chat when you can hear, but at the moment, she hasn't gone live yet, so all you can do is hear me. Because yeah, she needs an exorcism, that's for sure. All right. Just looking in here, checking out what the peeps are saying. Lots of good conversation back and forth. Enjoy yourself, talk with your neighbors, all that kind of good stuff. As we get ready to find out what happens. I mean, I hate to say it, but you already know where it's going. It's kind of like Sade when she said, you know, the end before the story's been told. You already know what's going to happen. We already know what's going to happen. We already know. Like, she's going to blame some people. I mean, we'll play bingo tomorrow for it, but we already know she's going to accuse some people. She's going to make some shoddy patchwork theories and such like that. We already know the end before the story's been told. Leave the sound off. Oh, they will demonetize the video. Well, she doesn't have any audio. Remember the whole thing with Kanye? It was that Kanye track that she played on her original, last year during her intro. That's that track that was getting people's videos demonetized. What? Jay, did you see my message yesterday that she? All right, fire in the hole, people. Let's go.
You know what I was thinking? I think that one of the more compelling questions
Wow.
that was raised with our Becoming Brigitte series was, is it possible for someone to be like, yeah, no, really, all of my friends keep getting trouble for abusing kids, but I swear it's not me, it's just all my friends. I find myself kind of arriving at this same question regarding Turning Point faith. I don't like Turning Point faith. I'm an enemy of Turning Point faith. There, I said it. I think it's pretty obvious. I don't like it at all. These pastors, their
Wow.
backgrounds, finding God, the grift of finding God, I'm referring to, becoming very obvious.
Wow.
And I'm asking the question, how many connections are too many connections when it comes to activity in the East on military bases? Also, you are going to believe me now because I'm going to
Oh, yeah.
this lawsuit that they're going through. It's making its way through the courts anyway. Just allegations, I suppose you could say, but it certainly puts another coin in the Candace was right jar. So let's jump right into it. Welcome back to Candace.
I told y'all somebody's going to sue her, and I was told two people were suing her from those two people. So we'll see.
Okay, today's show is going to be brought to you by Nimi Skincare. So thank you to them.
All right. Well, I'm going to make sure my skin is good. My skin is great. Thanks so much. I appreciate you doing that for us. Thank you, Candace. We really appreciate that. My skin is amazing. Jason's skin is fantastic. It's great. Make sure you follow him.
Where should we begin? War everywhere. That's just what we're doing. It definitely seems like land grab everywhere. And it doesn't seem like it. That's what's happening. And you know what actually is stuck in my head? It kind of lives in the back of my head.
What?
That we never really discussed more fully on this show. But when I spoke to the influencers at the retreat, and this is not suspicion, by the way, Bill Ackman confirmed it, that he gave this presentation to encourage younger generations not to own property. Like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you should just rent for the rest of your life. Just become rent slaves for the rest of your life. I feel like that so perfectly fits into this narrative, this global narrative that we have, where it seems like somebody hit a button and they are rushing and they just want to buy up land. And they're doing it through a lot of different venues, private equity, buying a bunch of land.
Okay, see, this is why I try not to just assume that she records her show. Somebody has told me that they really believe, they twisted my arm to believe that she doesn't record her show. If she doesn't mention that Trump signed a bill to stop corporations from buying large swaths of land and property, I'm sorry, there's no way you're going to beat these charges. I just don't understand. I don't get it. Like, if she doesn't talk about that, that's...
And then you have these unnatural disasters and suddenly land super cheap. And of course, their preferred method of war. War everywhere all the time.
But nothing about that. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, she didn't even mention that. That was a big deal. Okay.
Many people, oh my gosh, you won't believe what these radicals are doing. And of course, it just seems to be that whenever Bibi Netanyahu's around the corner, like, hey, I want that piece of land, suddenly our media starts telling us, hey, you wouldn't believe how free these people are trying to get in Iran. These people are really, woo, we need to free the Iranians. Oh, they've been living in oppression. Bibi is over here like, oh, land. Oh, no, really? It's about spreading democracy. Code word, that's military code word for dropping bombs and stealing a bunch of stuff that isn't ours, land that isn't ours. Anyways, war with Iran, it's now back on the table firmly. Why? Because, well, Israel wants it. And one of the more interesting things
But nothing about what happened in Nigeria, nothing about what happened in Venezuela. Like, it's only if she can craft the story to somehow or another, she can shoehorn this threadbare theory about Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, and Israel. If she can shoehorn them in, she would say that we took over Mars, man. Like, this is insane. This is wild.
The Charlie Kirk timeline, our master timeline that we've created, is
Where
the month
is
of
it?
June.
Where is it?
Because we know that during the month of June, according to Tucker Carlson and other people who have come out and spoken about this, Charlie goes head to head with Bibi Netanyahu. And Charlie wins, by the way, in the moment. He lobbies in the month of June for President Trump not to get involved in Israel's war with Iran. He says just limit it to taking out their nuclear sites. Anything more than that, and you're going to lose the base. And yet everybody around Trump is completely infiltrated. They're a bunch of Zionists. They're lobbying on behalf of Israel. No, do more, get involved. Charlie wins. Charlie was adamant that war with Iran would not benefit the Trump campaign, and it would not benefit the American people. And we can hear him in his own words on this, because I find it compelling that they want us to honor Charlie by not asking questions, donating money, but not by actually carrying.
Who's saying that? Who is saying that these things that she says? Y'all need to, if you're a member of Cantifa, you're going to have to start asking her to actually show and prove. Like, show us the evidence of what you're saying. Who is saying don't ask questions, just donate money? Who's saying that? And what questions are they saying don't ask? You cannot do this. This is lowbrow, remedial response behavior right here. This is some lowbrow behavior. And y'all are smarter than this. Let's go.
Forth his actual ideas, things that came out of his mouth, the issues that he was concerned with in the months leading up to his life. So let's listen to Charlie Kirk regarding the neocons who could buy their way, apparently, onto the Turning Point USA stage, and their insistence that we need to go to war with Iran. Take a listen.
Let's do some updates about Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham. This is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many Jews left in Persia, but also you have secular younger Persians. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya.
Well, I would push back, Charlie, only to say that it's very much the intended result. I find it so funny when people make the argument, well, you wouldn't want to live in this country in the Middle East. You wouldn't want to live in Iraq. Obviously, the West is the best. Yeah, do you want to know why I wouldn't want to live there? Do I want to live in Libya? Do I want to live in Iraq? Because we bombed them. We didn't stop bombing them. We bombed them pretty much into the actual dark ages. That's the goal of these things, is to make it so these people can't live ahead and live in poverty. So yeah, no, you're right. I wouldn't want to live there because neocons insist on bombing and taking these countries' resources and controlling them therein with really kind of gangs. That's kind of the methodology. Gangs will then run the streets and we will supply the weapons anyways. Tucker Carlson similarly echoed this at the time. Lindsey Graham was just doing what Lindsey Graham does. I think personally, he's got the largest blackmail file. Whatever Israel has on him, it is terrifying. Okay. It is terrifying. We know what Lindsey Graham probably gets up to. We've had some male hookers come out and make some allegations, but they were running a pretty sophisticated blackmail ring in DC. And Lindsey Graham just comes out and immediately is like, whatever Israel wants all the time, bomb them now. And Tucker
Who
Carlson, I
says
think, put
that?
it quite succinctly when he said this about Lindsey Graham. Take a listen.
What you don't want are flighty, emotionally incontinent, silly people on the payroll of foreign nations making decisions in an empire, because that's how you get in trouble. People like, just throwing this out there, say Lindsey Graham. Here he is in the aftermath of Venezuela.
To the people of Iran, we stand with you tonight. We stand for you taking back your country from the Ayatollah, a religious Nazi, who kills you and terrorizes the world. We pray for you. We support you. Donald J. Trump is not Barack Obama. He has your back. And to the Ayatollahs, you need to understand, if you keep killing your people who are demanding a better life, Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
Every time you see that guy on TV, it really just reminds you of like getting pulled over for DUI with your drunk girlfriend in the passenger seat screaming at the cop, "You can't do this! Take your hands off him! He's going to beat you up!" Lindsey Graham really is the drunk girlfriend.
What?
Fights he'll never have to participate in. We're going to kill you! Settle down, son.
He is so correct with that analogy. That is.
But why not? Wow. Wow. Okay. But why are you not addressing what happened in Venezuela or tying all of this together? This has nothing to do. And again, her show is blocked into 3 segments, if you notice. And the opening segment is the longest segment because that's where you get the most commercial breaks in YouTube. YouTube will put more commercials in that larger segment. Then she does an ad read. Then she does another segment. And then she does a smaller ad read. Then she reads the comments. So she's using this very valuable amount of time. It's about 20 minutes, roughly. It depends, it kind of plays with it, like 20 to 25 minutes. She's using this time to talk about what? If you go back and watch, she usually wastes that opening salvo on something really ridiculous. And this is, again, that mentally deficient time, because why are you not talking about tying this all together to Charlie? Now we're talking about Iran. I promise you, Charlie Kirk is going to be the scum of the earth, and TPUSA is going to be a cult. I'm promising.
Exactly who he is, but I think he's got tears in his eyes. I think they called him and they're like, "We were going to release the file right now, and everyone's going to see what you did." And he's like, "That's Lindsey Graham." Anyways, back to Charlie. I want to now show you this in our master timeline. Charlie going head to head with Bibi Netanyahu, because June is when things start to look funny. Okay, not a great thing in your life to win against the murderous Israeli regime. Okay, not so concerned about Iran. Very concerned about the murderous Israeli regime, okay? And we're going to look at that timeline between just the dates of May 13th through to June 24th. Now, I know you don't even know this plane, this purple plane, light purple plane, SUBTU. This is when we get to the Egyptian planes here, but I'm building this all up for you with the priests and the pastors and Liberty University.
You haven't given us any of the data on the planes. Where is it? It doesn't exist. You're just putting stuff on a screen and you say you built a timeline. Nobody cares. Nobody. It's just silliness.
There's a reason that we're waiting on that. But SUBTU is a plane. First, our anchor plane comes in. The anchor plane comes in May 23rd, lands into Provo. And I think in terms of the patterns that I'm seeing with the Egyptian planes, it gets there before their A-lister arrives. Like they get there, maybe scope the place first because somebody big's on board. May 27th is when that follow-up plane comes in. That's always going to be a quick trip. And if you actually looked this up on Flight Radar, you would not see this trip. It's going to look to you like this tail number.
Because it didn't happen.
Just flying around in circles in Cairo. I have been able to confirm that they are able to trick their transponders. And
oh my gosh.
So it is a fact.
No.
See this on Flight Radar.
No.
A lot of activity.
No.
Like it's just
no,
going
ma'am.
around.
No, ma'am. We want proof and evidence. You need to get Habib over at the Cairo airport to come on to explain that they're beep, 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 beep. She literally said that, y'all. Let me back up because y'all don't believe what she said that. You don't believe she said that. Look what she said.
leave the nation. So it is a fact.
No, it's
You're
not.
going to see this on flight radar. You're just going to see a lot of activity looking like it's just going around. But this tail number SUBTU.
Let me tell you real quick. I do not want anybody to send me the link, clip out that little. I do not want you to do that and email that to me. Do not email that to me. I will not accept it. Do not send that to me because I don't want to be super petty today. I'm trying to be less petty. But my email is dearwokesy@gmail.com. Do not send that to me. Okay, let's go. This is ridiculous.
Going to fly into Provo, and this Walid Mahmoud is going to be aboard. That's an important name because that's going to be the same Walid Mahmoud that's going to be on our yellow plane on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Oh my
and there's no
gosh.
transponding. Anyways, then we have it departs on June 2nd. Back, it leaves Provo, heading back to Cairo. And once again, it does not transpond during that flight, but I have confirmed that those planes were in fact
How did
in
you
Provo.
confirm it, Brenda?
Immediately following this trip, Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences. Okay. Now, maybe actually, since it wasn't transponding, who knows? Maybe it went to DC. A plane could have actually gone to DC. I don't know. I shouldn't even say.
Well, wait, hold on. No, you just said you confirmed that it was there and it was in Cairo. Now you say, oh, well, maybe it went to DC. You just literally made that up in 4K. Did y'all hear that? Y'all stop this woman. I can't.
But on June 13th, Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences. Every time I start building these planes, something's going on in Israel, and these planes get going. And I've learned Provo basically has a city underground. Pretty safe place.
Not the Ninja Turtles are back. Oh my gosh. The Ninja Turtles have made a comeback. Oh, I did not think they were going to make it. Oh, and the Mormon Bees. Oh, I got to back that up. Hold on. Provo has a whole city underground. Y'all, come on.
And I've learned Provo basically has a city underground. Pretty safe place, I would say. I would speculate that if you need to get a very important person out of the area, out of Israel during wartime.
Wait. Hold on. Please call my wife. Tell her I'm dying. Hey, look, Jason died in the studio, but he loves you. This woman just said they evacuated somebody from Israel and brought them to Provo, Utah, to an underground city to keep them away from the war. Ma'am, that's 9 time zones away. He could have came here to Atlanta and went to Lenox Mall. Nobody, well, I don't know. Here in Atlanta, we might have got him. He could have went to New York. Never mind. Okay, maybe the underground city in Provo might have been safer, right? Yo, she did not say this. This woman is amazing. Oh man. Oh, this is some good church right here, y'all. I'm here for it. Please make sure you email management to stop laughing at this.
Provo would be a great place for this person to go, and there were some strange cancellations. But again, I'm going to save that government cancellations in Provo at that time. But I'm going to save that again for when we go through the Egyptian plains. Point being is that Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences, and we know that then between June 14th and June 21st, leading up to our Operation Midnight Hammer, which is when we send out the planes to bomb Fort Dow, Charlie's lobbying and saying no more involvement, okay? Another interesting thing, which I didn't introduce as I've been building out this timeline in the background, is that on June 19th, Erica purges her Instagram, okay? She deletes 126 Instagram posts. By no means a little. That is according to Social Blade. And we have that somewhere so you can see that. So I don't know, maybe Charlie's saying, I feel threatened. I don't want people knowing where we're going. Who knows? But that's a noticeable purge of content that takes place in the same time frame.
Okay, I gotta, you know what? Okay, I'm sorry. This woman, I'm sorry. This woman is retarded. I'm sorry. I just gotta say it. I'm sorry. Just because somebody, first of all, we don't know that this is Erica Kurt's Social Blade. There's no way to know that that's Erica Kurt's Social Blade. So there's that first problem. Second problem is if I take down a clip off of my YouTube, that's one thing. But if YouTube takes something off of it, guess what? It still shows up as being taken down. Or what if I was a brand, if I was doing a brand ambassadorship and I no longer am supporting that brand, right? I'm doing a brand project with Plug Tech. You know, they support this channel. Shout out to Plug Tech, of course. But let's say in a year or two, let's say I'm not doing a project with them, but the video is up and I'm shouting them out like I just did right here, then I might want to take that down. Like, just because somebody takes down a video means nothing, or a picture means nothing. It means nothing. Again, here on YouTube, they could take your video down too. Maybe Instagram took it down. Maybe Instagram thought it was bad. I mean, there's so many reasons for people to lose and take down content. Maybe they say, hey, I want to grow my content, so I'm taking down things that are not doing well, because I don't want people's attention to be looking at these little silly cat videos I have on here. I want people to look at my auto detailing videos. So I'm getting rid of the silly cat videos. There's so many things, and Candace knows nothing. That's the thing. Like, she knows, like, at least be a master at something. And then, you know, have Dunning-Kruger effect on it. She has Dunning-Kruger effect on everything. Let her go, Jason. Let's go.
I just wanted to explain that to you because it's on the master timeline. And then, like I said, what happens is, bam, we decide to bomb Fort Dow, a limited military exercise. And everyone says, war with Iran is over. The Panikins were wrong. And we were going, no, we weren't wrong. We weren't wrong. What Bibi wants, Bibi gets. So this just means we're hitting pause. And now we're here. Okay. Now we are actually here, and they are demanding that we get more involved. And now they're doing their preferred, oh, just in time, a color revolution. They're taking to the streets, demanding freedom. Really, CIA, Mossad, if you haven't done this literally in every country, like if you could just do a new strategy, I might actually believe that. But I don't even believe that like 2%. That's what's happening in that country. It's just, you know, color revolution. Pretend it was organic, and we're here to rescue them. Anyways, it's interesting. All of this is interesting because we don't see those principles of no involvement, staying away from neocons. We don't hear that now being reflected at Turning Point USA. Like, we're trying to figure out, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, which was obviously a good thing for Bibi Netanyahu, his war ambitions in Iran, what exactly has this organization become? Well, here's one thing that I can tell you, and you probably will believe this, but yesterday, obviously, I speculated, because I am enemies with their faith division, that it was, in fact, created in the image of the Moonies cult, a Korean cult. And after I questioned their expansion into estate planning as it pertains to the elderly, I was going, kind of weird. They used to just want a donation. Now they kind of want you to put them in your wills. Someone brought it to my attention that there actually was a lawsuit filed at the end of 2024 against Turning Point USA and YAF.
Told you.
Exactly the inclinations that I had underscored. Okay, remember, I told you the assassination of Abe Shinzo, the former prime minister of Japan, he was a longtime prime minister. He gets assassinated because the person was destitute, broke, and said, Abe, you are to blame for this. Your entire cabinet is filled with this. You've been pushing this. And my brother committed suicide. I almost committed suicide. We don't even have enough money to eat because my mother gave all of her money to this church, the Unification Church. Well, guess what? This is real life. In December of 2024, a court petition was filed challenging the last will and testament and trust of a man named Alton C. Jennings. Okay. Alton died at 95 years old. He had a very long life. Per the lawsuit, these are still just allegations. Per the lawsuit, Alton began showing signs of a cognitive decline in 2020. And at that time, a year later, rather, in 2021, he hired a caretaker. That caretaker's name is Mitch Manley Sr. Okay, so you're thinking grandpa now has a caretaker. We're good. I should tell you this lawsuit was filed.
What about Mitch Snow?
In this lawsuit, the grandson alleges that thereafter, Mitch Manley Sr. isolated his declining grandfather from his friends, from his family, and he seized control of his finances. Now, I should now tell you that Mitch Manley's son, so Mitch Manley's the caretaker, his son is Mitch Manley Jr., who was working for Turning Point USA at this time. He's actually working on Charlie Kirk's show. So his dad's taking care of this old man who's in cognitive decline. And here we go. The son is working for Turning Point USA. And would you believe it, lo and behold, when the elderly man died less than 3 years later at the age of 95, the family discovered that he had changed his will. He changed his will in November of 2023. So, for clarity, just 4 months before this man died at the age of 95, he moved to change his will. You'll never guess who he decided to leave his estate to. The estate, which was valued at $25 million, he left it, split it amongst Turning Point Action, headed up by none other than Tyler Boyer. Ta-da! And YAF. What can I say, you guys? Granddad
Nothing.
was a patriot in his senile state. He just became, he's like, you know what? I know that I had my grandson and my family, but I just decided that at the ripe age of 93, actually, I would like to give to causes in Arizona. And so bye-bye, grandson. How does that make you guys feel? I don't know. I am just amazed. I'm actually, oh man, the Moonies cult just opened everything. Everything is just locked.
So that never happens in Catholicism. I know people don't like that I keep bringing up Catholicism, but Candace professes to be a Christian. She professes to be a Catholic. And I'm pretty sure if we did any research, I'm sure there's some diocese, I'm sure there's some parish that has had this exact same thing happen to it, probably in far more repetitive fashion than just a one-off story about somebody's 95-year-old grandfather. And I just think that it's really wild that she keeps doing this and keeps positioning as if this is something super weird. And matter of fact, I'm looking for it. Somebody even emailed me yesterday. The General Catholic Church puts out a request on put out a pamphlet on how to will your property and write the Catholic Church, your particular church, into your will. And I'm looking for it. I don't know what I did with it. They emailed it to me yesterday. But again, I think this is just nasty work that she does this. And I hope that she gets the reward that she wants. Let's go. Let's finish.
Into place suddenly. And look, I want to be clear, just so I sound like a cultist. I'm sure this was all done for God. Really, who could possibly think otherwise? If you have any questions about that story or you want more details, I want you to know that you are trying to destroy Charlie's legacy. Everybody grieves differently. Okay. And yeah, some people have wills and estates changed for 93-year-old men, and the money is awarded to themselves. It's the best way to grieve. Now, why is this all just feeling so the opposite of godly, almost satanic? Yeah. Welcome to politics. And
I'd love for
speaking
Candace.
of,
I would love for Candace to take an episode to explain to us what godly actually is, because you do seem to peddle and traffic in the demonic. You seem to do a good job of exposing demonic. But what would it actually look like contrary to that, Candace? I'd love to know. And at 7:00 tonight, we're going to be doing our book review of the Screw Tape Letters. So if you want to check it out, feel free to check that out as well. We'll be doing that tonight. But I would love for Candace to actually maybe explain what you've explained the demonic. You seem to have a thumb. You got your thumb on the pulse of demonic, Candace. But why don't you explain to us, your audience, what the godly looks like, what the righteous, what is Christian behavior should look like, and how it would be different. I would love to see that. Just something to think about.
satanic. Speaking, and I mean literally, speaking literally of satanic, many of you were emailing us regarding a certain board member at Turning Point USA, right? We kept discussing this element of militant faith. Oh, these pastors happen to be in the military. Oh, it's kind of weird. Background in high-ranking military members. People using Christianity for ultimately what looks like militant aims, global governance. For whatever reason, when we explore that topic, we also find this recurring theme of sex abuse. It's almost as if all of these satanic things are coming in the name of the Lord. Well, enter this TPUSA board member named Paul Vallely. Paul E. Vallely. I want you to look at this guy. And he is exactly the kind of board member that I would expect to be involved with Turning Point Faith. By way of background, Paul E. Vallely was a military commander. He was the military commander for none other than the 7th Psychological Operations Group. That's already compelling for me, right? The 7th Psychological Operations Group. There were 6 before it. And what number are we at now? Okay, can we just take a second to appreciate that our military is literally running mind wars? Mind wars. And that's what he did. Our military is engaged in them. That's why I keep telling you, when you're on the internet and you're just being yelled at and they're just trying to break down your brain, they figured that if a bunch of people say something, you'll just follow the lead. That's what these bot farms are all about. I actually kind of subscribe to the dead internet theory, especially when I'm on X. I'm like, this is obviously run by the military. I've never seen the bots say we shouldn't go to war ever. And yet when I speak to people, nobody wants to go to war. So there you go. Anyways, back to Paul Vallely. Vallely did 2 combat tours in Vietnam. He was in Japan, Korea, Iraq, Israel, you name it, all over the place throughout Europe. And while he was serving, he collaborated with a major that was working under him. Okay. This major became his official research and analysis team leader. And his name was Major Michael. Look at those eyebrows. Unbelievable.
Those eyebrows
Michael
are serious.
Aquino. They hit it off so well, Paul and Michael, so well that in 1980, the 2 of them decided to co-author a book correctly termed, aptly entitled Mind War. Now, who is Michael Aquino? Because this is...
Who is he and what does he have to do with anything?
Aside from being an intelligence officer and an expert of psychological warfare, just like Vallely, doing this on behalf of our military, he's also an open Satanist. Honestly, I'm starting to think that being an avowed Satanist might be the very reason that he was welcomed into the ranks of our military. And I'm going to tell you his background story. That whole garb that he's wearing, by the way, this is Aleister Crowley. For those of you in the book club, those of you reading, we've been reading Chaos. This is what established Hollywood. You are not imagining it. This is what these people believe in. And in 1969, lo and behold, speaking of the book Chaos, when the military was just spiking the ball, psychological operations, moon landing, whenever you're ready, the Manson murders, whenever you're ready, all military. Anyways, in 1969, this guy Aquino joined the Church of Satan. And in 1969, he then rose through the ranks of that church as the Magister Caverns of the 4th degree within the church hierarchy. He became the editor of the publication The Cloven Hoof, and he sat on the governing council of the 9. In 1975, he left to form his own satanic church because just like other churches break apart, there was a schism. And the schism was because they couldn't establish the doctrine, because the Satanists were saying, like, Satan is an idea. And he was like, no, Satan is literal. And so they had the Great Satanic Schism.
What are you talking about?
John LaVey, who's the founder of the Church of Satan, of heresy for claiming that Satan was merely a metaphor and not an actual being. So I'm going to now let Michael Aquino, who's head of PsyOps, along with Paul Vallely, who's a board member, tell you what the goals were when he established the Temple of Set. Take a listen.
I just want to start out, I think, by clarifying and understanding
what are we listening to?
What it is to be a Setian. Obviously, slightly different from a Satanist, but obviously you did spend some time with the Church of Satan under LaVey initially, and just to understand what is the mindset, what is the philosophy of a Setian, what is that worldview like?
The Temple of Set was originally thought to take the context of what our original satanic experience had been out of the Judeo-Christian mythology system. And harking back to the original Church of Satan days,
what are you talking about?
We were looking really to find the nature of what is generally called the human soul. In other words, what it is within us that animates us, that gives us freedom of decision, of conceptualization, the intellectual life force. The Church of Satan, of course, had a certain.
Okay, I'm gonna stop for a second. I'm gonna. I got a feeling that nobody really cares what this guy is saying. I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody cares. So I'm gonna let him talk, but I'm just gonna talk over him. Can you imagine that this is what she's talking about above explaining what Mitch Snow saw, or trying to show the veracity of her claims about the Egyptian planes? Not just what you put on the Word document, but literal evidence that proves that these things are correct. Nothing. Nothing to talk about why Mitch Snow said his father was the Zodiac killer. Nothing about anything about Fort Huachuca or any of that kind of foolishness like that. Nope. We have this guy with these epic eyebrows on today, and he is talking about the Church of Satan. And that's what she finds to be the most important piece of information to share right now today. This has to be shared. Everybody must know about the Church of Satan, because that's what's going to bring about the closure. That's what's going to bring about the conclusion, the capturing of whoever it was that really killed Charlie Kirk. This woman is retarded. I'm sorry. I don't even say it like tongue in cheek. Like, I'm sorry. If you follow Candace Owens, she is making a pure, unadulterated fool out of you. A pure fool. All right, let's see what she's got to say.
I don't see why he would be disqualified to join the military. I mean, it sounds like he's committed. And yeah, this is what's going on. It's so important for you guys to recognize this, because there's been so much gaslighting. They try to call people crazy.
I just said
and
it.
when they describe these things and they're telling you this is what's going on in Hollywood. And I just hope that as we have been going through these series, and that's why I think it's so important to, rather than keeping up with daily news, be focused, actually, because even that is ADHD. You're distracted. You're talking about a bunch of things.
This chick did not say somebody has ADHD. This girl has military grade ADHD, and that's coming from somebody who has ADHD. This woman right here is far outstripped my ability to even comprehend ADHD. Like, I don't even understand what ADHD is. I don't even know what the letters are when I look at Candace. We're talking about somebody here who can't stay on a topic till its completion for as much as a week. Dare I say, in good gracious alive, 4 months, we done been all around the world. Man, come on. You cannot be calling somebody ADHD.
Actually,
You
stay
can't
on
do
one topic and follow it to its end.
No, she
and
did
every time
not.
we do this, we end up here, where it's very obvious whether we're talking about Becoming Brigitte, we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and now we are talking about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and Faith and this guy that's on the board. We always land here. Okay, this is not a satanic panic. This is history. What he's referring to, and if you are my book club, we've spoken about this at length. I keep telling you guys about the Frankists that came, right? The Franklin cover-up that came to America. They say, oh, this was a fringe cult. No. These people have always been in power.
And real quick, I want to get this off my mind real quick. In the beginning, she brought up the whole Becoming Brigitte series. She said, in our Becoming Brigitte series, we were talking about why are all these people around you all bad? Did you hear that part? Remember that? And she was saying, like, because during the Becoming Brigitte series, she talked about how, Macron and his wife are bad and they got bad people all around them and so on and so forth. So they're bad. Therefore, they're bad. Do you see where I'm going with that example? Why did she bring that up today? And if you go back and listen to what she just said right here, she said, now we have Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. They're not separate. Charlie Kirk is just as, I want you to go back just a smidgen, Jason. Hopefully it's not too far back. But listen to what she's saying. She's drawing the correlation between Brigitte and Emmanuel and Brigitte being bad because they got bad people around them. Now she's going to say that Charlie Kirk is bad because Turning Point USA is bad around him. Watch what she does.
What he's referring to, and if you are my book club, we've spoken about this at length. I keep telling you guys about the Frankists that came, right? The Franklin cover-up that came to America. They say, oh, this was a fringe cult. No. These people have always been in power. They've been backed by the bankers. And what he's referring to, what they follow is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. They've kept this, okay? This is what they follow, spells, rituals, and they do believe in the self. They believe that they can make themselves gods by violating nature. So part of their ritual is to harm the innocent because that's unnatural. It's unnatural to harm a child. And that's what they're doing. I want you to know that. I want you to just put that in the back of your mind and to pay attention to that, and why I urge you guys to get your children out of these schools. I really mean that. Because we are, I think, as a society, waking up all around the world to the fact that these people have always been in power. And it's pretty scary that they've been in power, they're in charge of our military, psychological operations. So in 1986, regarding this guy, the San Francisco police began investigating allegations, not surprisingly, of sexual abuse in connection with the Army's Child Development Center, which is based in San Francisco. A girl came forward in 1987 and she identified him, Aquino, as the culprit. An investigation was launched. The police believed she was telling the truth, but they had to close the case because of insufficient evidence that was found. Even though she was able to describe the house where she was taken to, they said there was insufficient evidence. Now, it's worth noting that Michael Aquino was trained at Fort Huachuca. Yeah, Fort Huachuca. As we've now established,
Huachuca's
is
back
the
in the
hub for
building.
intel operations, and there have been a lot of scandals that have happened at Fort Huachuca. And man, did we all endure and survive a psychological operation when Mitch Snow came and told us that he saw Brian Harpole and he saw Erica Kirk at Fort Huachuca.
None of those things demonstrate Mitch's veracity and trustworthiness. She still has not addressed his untrustworthiness. No, she hasn't addressed that. And you haven't actually proven any of these things. And what does it have to do with anything? This is wild. Let's just let it go.
In the days leading up to Charlie's assassination, different days. But man, we were going, what is happening?
Whoa, not different days. Hold on. No, never mind. Just leave it alone. So now she's admitting that the days that Mitch gave were wrong. Yo.
Why do we feel like the whole internet is screaming at us? Yeah, well, that's the home of Army intel psychological operations, and you should know that. Anyways, we now should discuss why it's just so hard for Turning Point USA to stay away. I showed you this chart from these trafficking connections.
Here it
and you're
comes.
just not going to believe a relationship that they are not severing. I just find it weird, like where they're having discussions about whether or not they should let Tucker speak on the stage. But I want to have discussions. Like if I'm a board member, I don't think they're going to consider me for it. But I'm open to it, Turning Point USA. I'm open to it. I'll shoot my shot. I would want to talk about some of these pastors that are welcomed onto the Turning Point USA stage. We'll talk about that more after a brief break. All right, you guys, I've spoken about...
I don't care. This is so wild that she's going to besmirch all these pastors because she says she's going to go to war with them. That's her decision. But shout out for the $2 right here. I would have full card bingo already. Yeah. We should have played bingo because I didn't have it. I did not intend for it to be this wild. So shout out for sure. Thank you for the 2. What do you say here, Wings fan with the 5? What is your email address? Because I have a hilarious police body cam clip to send you. Grace and peace. I think you sent it to me. I believe you've already got it. I believe I saw it in my email because I was looking for that Catholic. But let me just, here it is right here as well. dearwokec@gmail.com, just in case you didn't get it. Thank you so much again with the 2. Valley has ties to, who's Valley? Is that the guy? The QAnon? This woman right here, man, like this woman right here is all over the place. Like the fact that she can find all of this, but this is more believable than just saying that Tyler Robinson was radicalized. Alphabet Mafia, Cantifa, Trantifa, furries. Like that's less believable than the story that she told us. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. Again, y'all, Provo, Utah has an underground city. That thing right there that thing's gonna cook. Shout out, thank you so much, Grind Princess, for the 20 stream sponsor. Her motor mouth Candace spoken up about the Catholic Church long history of covering up crimes against children and covering for guilty priests. Asking for a friend. You said has, sorry. No, she hasn't. And that's why I keep bringing it up. Like the Catholic Church got some things it needs to deal with. And Candace could be addressing those things. But the fact that she's so demonstratively talking about things not and kind of cobbling together the story makes her story even worse, in my opinion. Hence why I keep saying it. Shout out to Bully. Thank you so much for the 5. If we hit 500 likes by 525, I'll give 5 membership. Oh, wow. Well, shout out. I think we're a little bit past that, though. I'm sorry. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. Real quick, let's Candace is back. Let's see where she is. Let's see where she is. Why does her hair look different? This is craziness. Why does her hair look different? Does her hair look different to you? Maybe it's me.
To be a public relations wizard. I don't do PR, certainly not. If you Google my name, you'll see. I don't care so much about it, but
you
I
do.
will say that is if a 94 TikTokers were out there making videos about me, accusing me of trafficking children from Romania, I would probably do my very best to stay away from the theme of trafficking and to stay away altogether from the theme of Romania. I just wouldn't even fly over the country for a little bit. But not Erica Kirk, because she's got Andrew Colvett as her PR. And he's like really smart, live texting people, getting caught, doing stuff behind the scenes, which is why she's soon going to be speaking with Greg Laurie's Harvest Church for Turning Point USA's Faith Make Heaven Crowded tour. Okay. I can show you that. I think we have that here on the website so you can see it. This is a real thing that's happening. And they're partnering with the Harvest
what's
Church
the problem
to
with
do this.
that?
It says that she is going to be speaking in is that it live streamed in Orange County. It's Harvest Orange County Church. Now, what's wrong with this? In case you are wondering or have not heard, what is going on with Harvest Church and Greg Laurie? Here's an article which tells us that Greg Laurie, there's been a number of lawsuits filed against Harvest Christian Fellowship, the founder, Greg Laurie, and also the church is related to alleged abuse of young men at a children's home in Romania. Okay, there's 12 lawsuits actually. The original lawsuit was filed in September by 2 men claiming that Paul Havsgaard, he is a former pastor and a missionary at Harvest Christian Fellowship in Riverside, California. So that's that area where they're all from. Colvette's from there, that area. He's from Santa Barbara, actually. McCoys are from there. And they're alleging that he abused them at a children's shelter in Bucharest, Romania. The allegations include children being tied to radiators, being made to kneel down on walnut shells, being touched inappropriately, and being pimped out for sex. Now, the number of litigants, as I said, has risen to 12, and the law firm that's representing the survivors said in a news release that they are expecting 23 former residents of the home to bring complaints. The most recent complaints were filed in November. The court documents claim that Greg Laurie and the Harvest Christian Fellowship sent funding to Havsgaard, which they obviously did send funding to him while he was there, and they were negligent in supervising him while he was there, despite reports of abuse. And so he's offering back that, oh, well, that's a pastor that we were funding. It's not the entire church. It's not fair to come after the whole church for what Paul Havsgaard is being alleged
Who
to
said
have
that?
done. I'm saying this is just too many times.
Who is saying that though? That's the thing I don't get. Is Greg Laurie saying that? What she just said? Is that what Greg Laurie is saying? It just seems odd that she knows what these people are saying. When did he say this? And she's tying it back to I'm telling you, TPUSA is about to become like an S trafficking cult. And I'm telling you, before this all said and done, Charlie's gonna be caught up in it.
For me, I don't know
Nobody
about you guys,
cares.
I'm getting Romanian trafficking fatigue. Okay?
Wow.
I'm getting Ukrainian, Romanian trafficking fatigue. It just can't be that all of these military people that are adjacent to the military, go out there in a place where they're perfectly safe. Actually, they're quite immune to prosecution because that's the deal that gets struck up between the governments, is like you can do whatever you want on your base. And I'm going, what the heck is going on here?
Who says this?
So I reached out to some people that I know, and I say, what is this strand? I don't know much about the military. Why does this keep happening? And what they told me, and this is also proven currently right now, a bunch of South Korean women have filed a unprecedented lawsuit against the United States military for the same thing, for running a brothel where they are stationed in South Korea. And so what they are telling me adds up. It's tracking. What they say is, okay, think of a military base anywhere in the world. You have a bunch of men who do not have regular access to women. So in those circumstances, and you also have a bunch of people that are, at the top of that military who, I don't know, maybe could be a bit like Aquino, some satanic tastes.
Wow.
Anyway, they tell me is that they will typically send someone out who will be a woman. So think of like a Ghislaine Maxwell to go out and to find them their interests, their tastes, young women that can be manipulated. That person will often describe themselves as a casting director to go out there and to tell the women to come onto the base. Once they're on the base, anything can happen to them. Like I said, they are afforded no protections from their government, and our government is not going to prosecute the men that do anything on that base. That's how the typical deal works.
Where are you
And
getting
yeah,
this from?
I don't know. Just like from a PR perspective, I'm not so concerned about why it is that Tucker Carlson, who just believes that we shouldn't get involved in wars, just like Charlie believed, is speaking at Turning Point USA. I am kind of concerned why all of these pastors who seem to be rehabilitating pedophiles are welcomed. It just feels like a thing easily to say, we're just not right now, Greg Laurie, until we get to the bottom of whether or not your church was more involved than these people are alleging. Because it's interesting that he's not saying it didn't happen. He's saying, well, it's not the whole church, just this pastor. Anyways, we'll continue to follow that lawsuit, but I find that to be pointedly absurd.
I don't think
And
she's
this
going to follow it.
Turning Point Faith in a nutshell, which I am an enemy of.
There you go.
If you would like me to do your PR too, here, shoot my shot. You can pay me. I'm definitely, I think, more capable of an Andrew Colbert at this, and I will tell you to stop doing that. I'll maybe stop working with creepy pastors. That would be a start. Not a finish, but it could definitely be a start. Anyways, before we get into some of your comments, I do want to acknowledge the fact that Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, died 68. I mean, what a brave battle fought.
That's interesting that she would bring him up
every day as much as he could when he had the strength to. On X, we were all watching it, and he did say that he was coming to the Lord before he passed. He lost his battle with prostate cancer. He was just 68 years old, so it's very sad. And I think I shared with you, everyone has stories about him and in their political life, and I think about that magic of the Charlie Kirk moment and the Kanye tweet, and like I told you, watching Scott Adams explain it on a little whiteboard of what had happened when these two things were not supposed to happen. Entertainment is speaking, and politics, and now he's ripped a hole in the universe. And so Scott Adams gets to see Charlie first, and he was a very honorable man, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. And for all of his loved ones that are going through this, it's very hard. Even if you're expecting it, it is very hard to go through. So say a prayer for Scott Adams and his family. We're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back.
I'll give her credit. I'll give her credit for that. I think that's the right thing. It's interesting. The only reason I believe she brought up Scott Adams, however, is Scott Adams talked about the whole Kanye, Candace merger, whatever happened back in, was it 2016, 2015, whatever. Like, that's the only reason she brought that up. But wow, man. Okay, so does that mean it wasn't recorded? Does that mean it's live? I don't know. What it does mean is that we got to shout out what another 5 says this. She has scribbles connecting the constellations. Her next intro today on Candace on becoming I think you mean Vulcan, a Vatican. That is a Vatican. We'll tell you how I'm the Vatican. What's a Vatican? What is that? I don't know. I'm lost. Help your boy out. Thank you so much for the 5. Man, thank you, Dee for the very kind $20 super sticker. I hate that they don't show it to us online. I mean, on my end, but I thank you so very much for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. What do we have here? All right. Tammy says this with the 2. Is she forgetting where the Tates live? I don't think she remembers. Truth be told, I think that's a great question. That's a fantastic question, actually. And then lastly, let's go with the Grind Princess with the 20, another 20. Candace glued in a few hair tracks to make that stiff fried hair look fuller and longer. I mean, there's tracks in there for sure. There's tracks for sure. She should have just trimmed that Helga Pataki eyebrows instead. Dog, man. Are you gonna be like that on her? Dang. Even I'm like, man, be kind, be kind. All right, let me see. Hold on. She done started back up. She's back. Let's go.
Sparkle Me Silly writes, Israel calling out citizens in America by their name and labeling them their enemy is so disturbing. President Trump must put an end to this immediately. He won't. This needs to be taken seriously and action taken against these evil, ruthless invaders. If we allow such behavior from any foreign entity, then our government must take a stand to protect American citizens, no matter who it is. They're not going to do that. Nope. We are not going to be saved by the United States government. We are not going to be saved by the Loch Ness monster that lurks in Washington, D.C. That is why I say to you guys,
Dang.
rather than feeling hopeless, make your communities smaller, get your children out of these schools, pay off your debts.
I agree with pay off your debt.
Stop gambling, stop giving to the things that they have created to enslave us. Make yourself, as much as you can, be sure to buy yourself some property. That's what they want. They want to buy up everything, or they'll blow it up, or they'll burn it. And
What
that's
is she
the best thing
talking
to do,
about?
is to realize what you can do as a small group, which is what we have done as much as we possibly can. It's not easy, but slowly, inch by inch, increment by increment, you can just remove yourself from this matrix. Right? Remove yourself.
Who
So
believes
they
that
can't
she's
just do these
actually
things to
doing
us
that?
overnight, which they're doing overnight to other people. And we are a big country that helps us. What are we, 370 million people in our population? So it's a bit harder for them to murder us all, which they would. That's why they
Wow.
prefer the method of vaccines and making us sick and polluting the air and chemicals and things of that nature. But the good news is that we are awake to it. We are awake to it. And by the way, use your speech while you still have it. How you spend your dollars.
Let me tell you why I believe Candace is full of bovine scatology. Let me tell you why. If Candace Owens really believed that you should build small communities, and she says she's doing this, if she really was doing that, she would be telling her audience how to do that. She would be telling her audience, like, this is what we've done. This is how we're moving forward. This is what we're doing. This is how, here's a little roadmap to self-sustainability, blah, 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 how to build a homestead. She would be telling you that. She doesn't, because she doesn't. She's full of hot air. She's just saying stuff. She lying to get friends. That's all she's doing. And I'm sorry, if you following her, you're following an insane, mad woman. I mean, that's all it is. There's no other way around it. She's not going to beat these charges. There's no other way around it. If she was really, truly had found the way to build homesteads and like build a small community, like what does that even mean? Like, are y'all building a compound around your neighborhood? Like, what does that mean when you say that? Are you like, what are you doing? There's no way to know it because she doesn't explain it, because she actually doesn't do it. And again, I know people don't like this, but Candace just is lying to y'all. She's just lying to you in 4K. She's lying to you. And she just wants you to believe that she's some super whatever savant, and that she wants you to just tune in tomorrow for some more foolishness. I'm going to tune in tomorrow because I'm just going to mock her, make fun of it, and have a good time with the best live chat on the internet. That's the only reason we do it. Not because we actually believe anything that she's saying. And I just stop periodically and point out, like, she's full of hot air, y'all. You do know this, right? You did know she was lying, right?
Actually matters. Okay, next comment is from Anthony Aguilar. Candace, this is Anthony Aguilar. We mentioned him yesterday. You guys will recall, because he sort of rang the alarm on what was happening in Gaza. He went on Tucker Carlson's show, and then he was attacked, and he spoke about Johnny Moore and the fake Gazan humanitarian aid that was really just kind of letting Palestinian children and women be murdered, right? Women and children were just murdered as they were running for food, and men, obviously. Anyways, he writes, Candace, this is Anthony Aguilar, the Gaza whistleblower, Green Beret. I've been to Gaza. I was arrested on the 3rd of September in Congress for calling out AIPAC. I'd love to come on and talk. So many important things. You are amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for being one of the rare, brave people that is speaking out about what our government is doing. There have been many people before you, but not hardly enough, because they're
So
fearful of
I think
this
we could
man.
call her the queen of the flies. So she's swatting away flies. She's the queen of the flies. you know who Beelzebub is, then.
That is trying to take over the world. Jenny's Carr writes, something feels deeply wrong. Free speech is under attack. Our food is compromised. Every product seems harmful. The skies are being poisoned. Vaccines are bad. History itself feels uncertain. If there were ever a time for Jesus to return, this feels like it would be it. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And, history gives us the answers. That's why we named one of our episodes last week, The Past is Prologue. It provides the answers. And until you go backward into the theology that's guiding this, and these are satanic rituals, it's real. That's not a
Then
deviant.
okay, fine. It's satanic ritual. Show us what the biblical ritual would be. What is a biblical response, Candace? That's the part that I think really, I mean, like, she's living the screw tape letters. We're gonna be doing the screw tape letters in about 35 minutes, give or take. But she's like living it, where she's like screw tape. Like, she's really writing and proposing as if that's what she is, man. Candace is screw tape.
It's not a joke. It's not imagined. So we're showing you these people. We're showing you what they believe. They gave open interviews about what they believe. It's right there. And that's why they insist on the first thing, which is a psychological operation. That's why they insist on the minds of the youth. That's why I say, pull your kids out of the school. If we could just short the market on public school system, I think things would get crazy pretty fast in a good way. We're already seeing that in Florida. They're like coming to the table like, oh, did we say you needed to get 97 vaccines? Oh, silly us. Because they need the minds, okay? They might have all the money and all the power, but we have the people and we have the truth. And at the end of the day, the truth cannot be defeated because the truth is Christ. Christ is King.
But what? Okay, explain what Christ means. Like, okay, fine. Christ is King. I agree. But explain that to me, Candace, as if I didn't understand it. What does that mean? Like, put it in some very, be theological. Don't worry about me drowning. Go ahead, just break it down to me theologically, not just this esoteric Christ is King. But like, what does that mean? What is the application of that statement in real life? What does it look like? You say the truth is on your side, but what is the truth that you're referring to? This is what the Cantifa needs to start doing. They've got to start asking these questions. I don't get it. I don't get it. And her hair is different now.
Happy writes, instead of spending any money at Amazon on things that I don't need, I'd rather put my money toward this fight. This is good versus evil. It is. And you know what's crazy? Realizing the people that took the money. Like, they're watching the show. They know what they're defending. They know children are being harmed. And they're like, but dang, that 100K in my account monthly is good. I don't know. That, I think, surprised me. Like, I just had the idea that we are basically good, and we would all, if we saw things like, a child being harmed, children being blown up, it wouldn't matter left or right, we would cross arms and be like, okay, no, how do we fix this? I hate you after we fix this, right? Like, I'm gonna whoop your butt, but first let's make sure the kids are okay. And the answer is no. I was wrong, you were wrong, we were all wrong. Actually, money is corrupting. People are taking the cash and going, yep, that's it. All I care about is making this money. And they don't believe in God, by the way. Many of them were brainwashed themselves when they were younger. Some of these people actually believe, I think about this often, they believe they're chosen. They actually think they're allowed to do this. They have been brainwashed to believe that they're allowed to be evil because they're just chosen. And actually, they've just been brainwashed to buy themselves a one-way ticket to hell.
Wow.
With a gasoline coat on. That's what they've been brainwashed to believe.
Wow.
They don't know that. So look at them. They don't know either. They have no idea why they hate and why they believe everything is theirs. And they have no idea what eternity is. They have
Who are these
no
people?
idea. The concept of eternity completely evades us until it's going to be here. And I would not want that. Burning in hell for eternity is very, very serious. I would not want that for my worst enemy. And yet,
When you think about the fact that I'm going to go out here and just put out a number, about 97% of the stuff that Candace says is projection. When she says they or them or somebody else, the likelihood is strong that she's talking about herself. There's a strong possibility because we don't know who these they, thems are. We just know her. The fact, some of the stuff she says, man, is chilling. Like, wait, you do know that you're talking about yourself, right? Like, who are these people that you're referring to? Nobody, just randoms.
I fear that will be the circumstance for a lot of people. The collimation writes, the devil may be in the details, but the details of God are from the mother of God. Look, in the end, God wins, and that's why I'm optimistic. Even when I bring you this news and explain this to you, I know how far we are that people are not looking at this going, oh, this is crazy. It's like completely, that's not happening. That's how it was in the 80s, the 70s, the satanic panic. Everyone was like, are you crazy people? That's not happening. The Franklin cover-up, you crazy people. Now everyone's like, oh, it's happening. Now we got Tim Dillon being like, is this going on? And he's turning it into a joke, but it's dark humor. You can't distract us away from this
What
anymore.
are you talking about?
They rely on our ADHD. That's another thing.
Mother
That's why we
of
now
God?
do focused series on this podcast. Who killed Charlie Kirk? You know we're getting close. Julius writes, Candace, I just started going to Catholic Mass for the first time ever. I originally grew up in a Lutheran church. I am so pleased to hear that. Yeah, we need to go backward. I don't know what the heck we were thinking. Gosh, I just feel like that was like, I was so brainwashed thinking that these military pastors were in it for good. And now I'm learning about this
What are
whole
you
psychological
talking
operation.
about?
What goes on at Fort Huachuca? What goes on at Fort Huachuca? Huachuca Cabra. A lot going on down there. It's monstrous. Nicole Palik writes, I wonder if the Tate brothers were somehow wrapped up in this situation in Romania. Maybe he knew some information and was going to out it, and they locked him up and took everything so they would shut him up. I wonder. Well, considering that as soon as they landed on American soil, the Zionists wanted to put him in prison by having no charges in America, that's how you know they're not a part of the government. Because the government always protects their own. They protected Jeffrey Epstein. If Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were working for the government trafficking, they would be protected. They'd probably get standing applause, standing ovations at Congress, right?
You know, let's play a game. Let's play a game because people are wondering, why is it if Candace Owens is speaking truth, let's just pretend that everything she said up to this point has been true. You know what? I'm going to end, unless she got like 3 minutes left. Actually, less than 3 minutes. Here, let me finish. I'm gonna come back to that because then we gotta get ready for our book discussion. By the way, if you want to jump into the book discussion, I'll drop the link in the chat. It's on the community post on my channel as well. Let me just bring this in. I'm gonna get done, but I do want to talk about that, and then we're gonna get out. All right, go, Candace. Hurry up.
Bills passed never to open their files. Just let them go. Leave the Tate brothers alone. Right? The people that are attacked are being attacked by the media apparatus because they're not with the media apparatus. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're perfect people. Obviously not. They have been in the business. They've talked about this extensively of webcam stuff. I stand against pornography as a Catholic. And you should too, because that's a part of a psychological operation. It renders men weaker. But I think I can confidently say it the way that they were attacked consistently by the government. Now, they weren't in the in crowd. Just Jessica, high five, writes, you connected the dots in our rural Virginia area. Generational farms have been quietly willed over the past few years, often without families even aware. The church operates much like an open Freemason-style club and an old man's boys club. Yes, this is happening, okay? People that are caretakers, assisting the elderly, you guys just like lock in and pay attention to your relatives. This is why they say, you're supposed to take care of your own relatives, okay? You're not supposed to put them up in a home because these homes know what they're doing, okay? The gang, it's everywhere. They want to own everything, every parcel of land, and you can feel it right now. They're squeezing us right now. Everything feels catalyzed. You know what I wanted to talk about today? However, I'll save it for tomorrow, but this Project Looking Glass in the CIA, I wonder what they saw. Looking into the future, stealing not Egyptian but Sumerian technology, which is what they did. These are culture vultures. These Egyptsies is what they are. They wear whatever mask they need to. They have to either pretend to be Catholic, or pretend to be Jewish, or pretend to be Muslim.
What are you talking about?
No, they're thieves. They're glorified thieves is what these people are, and they've always been this since the beginning of history. And they stole some Sumerian technology that allowed them to predict outcomes, and that technology stopped working in 2012. We're going to get into that tomorrow. I find it to be fascinating. I wonder if they saw Charlie Kirk. Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, that woman is deflected. They bought technology to see into the future. This woman has now gone, what is it, Doctor Who or Stargate? Which one do y'all want it to be, Doctor Who or Stargate? Because we're going to have to, I mean, this is ridiculous. Let me thank you so much for these very kind supers. And I got to get over here for our book club in a moment. But real quick, Candace doesn't like anything to do with faith in Jesus because she has been taken over by the legion of demons. I see no way to beat those charges. I see no way to not agree with you right there, Captain Jax. Thank you for the very kind $10 super. And by the way, thank you so much for blessing 5 members. Shout out to y'all. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the team. Y'all go ahead and make sure you say thank you to Captain Jax for the very kind 5 new memberships. Thank you so much. How do I join the book club? I just dropped the link in here. I'll put it one more time. It's just a book discussion. I already posted the questions I'm going to be asking. So you can kind of get yourselves ready while you're, getting your dinner and getting your beverages and stuff like that ready. Be ready to talk about it. That's it. And the audiobook for Screw Tape Letters is there as well. All right, let's keep it going. Thank you so much. Oh, Vactum is victim, making fun of her pronunciation. I got you. I was sleeping, man. I was low. My ADHD was too high. But you know who else is high? Texas Bully Mom dropping 5 more memberships. Man, y'all extending out the gang. The gang is getting bigger. The gang is here. Y'all make sure you say thank you. If you got a membership from Texas Bully Mom, tell her thank you. And then what we got here? Thank you so much for the 5. Tony Aguilar is disgraced, pathological liar in the likes of Snow, Green Beret veteran. Green Beret nap time outed him back when he came out as a whistleblower. Shout out. There we go. I don't know much about him, but Candace is charming at the bit. But I think it's interesting. Why was she so willing to have Mitch Snow come on with all of his foibles and all of his issues? Why was she so quick to have him on and him to be discredited so quickly? She actually even mentioned it in the interview that he was going to be discredited by the internet. I wonder why she did that, but I'm glad she did. Let me just say that. So here's my question I want to propose as I get ready to get out of here, because I do need to get ready for our discussion. If Candace Owens is true, let's say everything she's saying is true, Hollywood, Provo, underground cities, Israel runs the world, the multiverse, all that kind of stuff like that. Why is it that Candace is still here? If they took out Charlie Kirk because he was challenging whatever, and apparently it was terrible. He changed his position on Israel. Got you. Why is she still here then? Like, if they were so willing to take out Charlie, why did they not take her or Tucker, fill in the blank? But why is she still able to do what she does with no problem, no issue? And I think that's odd, considering how she frames it. These people, the secret cabal, what you call it, the Masonic boys club, they're running the whole party. Why is she still able to do what she does without any problem? No problem. We know, unless Jesus tarries or divine intervention, she's gonna be back tomorrow, and the next day the same thing. Like, why is that true? We wouldn't have. I mean, we didn't have the same reality about Charlie. Charlie lived knowing that he was gonna get taken out. She's surfing for somebody to take her out, or some kind of mishap. But it doesn't happen. Why? Anyway, just something I thought about. Y'all, thank you so much, everybody who's been a part of the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much. I'm gonna be jumping real quick, scarf down some dinner, wash my face, get ready for our book discussion, the Screw Tape Letters. We're going to just slow walk through it. We're not going to finish it tonight, of course. But if you didn't already get the book, or you want to get the book, you want to jump in, just jump in. Feel free. We're going to have just a nice little discussion. The audiobook I made available in the invitation, so you can grab that as well and listen along, listen tomorrow or whatever, and then jump in next week when we do it again. Either way, see y'all in a few minutes. Thank you all so much. Moderators, you all are the best. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you to everybody, whether you're Cantifa or not. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. I really do appreciate it. If you don't like me, go ahead and hit the like button 3 times. it kind of helps out too. But anyway, thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Make sure you tip your waiters on the way out the door. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We're doing our best to hit 100,000. If I earned it, I'm going to do my best to earn it. If I didn't earn it, I'm going to do my best to earn it tomorrow. But for today, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I'll see you all real soon. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.